सबसे ज़्यादा अगर कंट्रोवर्सी कहीं से आई है तो ये रिश्ता से ही आई है। रातों रात आर्टिस्ट चेंज हो जाते हैं, वहाँ पर रिप्लेस कर दिया जाता है जो भी। इट्स ट्रू।
Could be sometimes that the production is not paying. I've also been, under that the production is just not paying your fee. The show's been over and you're just really calling for your payment as like, when will it happen? 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line, they're not paying.
काफ़ी ऐसे आर्टिस्ट हैं जिनके शोज आ रहे तुरंत बंद हो जा रहे, या तो रातों रात आर्टिस्ट चेंज हो जा रहा है।
It's definitely not encouraging to be an actor in today's age. The amount of content that's being made, especially films, it's not a great time. I got a film after that, and I did Shubh Mangal, I did Ye Rishta Kya Kehlata and stuff. I don't know what I can do about it. I can't do anything about it. My job is to act. I did Razia. Razia again is the first woman ruler of India. So it was I felt almost proud to play that character. Every day I remember by the end of the day my head would be paining because I was crying so much. Situations were so intense. For the first 1 month we were shooting in Dharamshala in -1 or 1 degree or 0 degree. And I was just chilling and our lips were like Big Boss, I don't know how well I can do in Big Boss. Maybe I can do very well. I feel sometimes when I watch it and I think, okay, I think I'll be great. And sometimes I feel no, I don't have the courage to take that kind of. I've always wanted to be an actor. I figured it out by the time I was in college and I got my first hand experience थोड़ा सा theatre करके, थोड़े से मैंने जो ये दूरदर्शन वाला शो किया था back in college, उनके crew का एक member, he also reached me, number नहीं था so I wasn't picking up या क्या कहीं से नहीं था, तो Facebook के through he messaged me कि would you want to do this and I said yeah of course, acting की हर चीज़ I would do. दिल दोस्ती on channel V.
Yes.
Yeah. I again went to Mumbai, gave the audition, came back and I got selected for the main lead of that show. And now I'm in Bangalore and I've gotten selected and they're like, this particular Monday से shoot start है. So I said, okay, I need some time to pack up my stuff and obviously I'll have to resign and stuff. I don't know how that happens and everything. So what I did first was put all my stuff into boxes and couriered it to Mumbai. So I have a flight on Sunday. Saturday evening, I get a call that the show is... Hi, this is Pankhuri Awasthy and you're watching me on Buzzzooka.
जो आज हमारे साथ है, उन्होंने अपने सीरियस किरदार से लोगों को लुभाया है, द्रौपदी के किरदार से अपने दर्शकों को रुलाया है, वहीं पर मीरा के किरदार ने कई हंसी में कोई कमी ना छोड़ी, जो सबके दिलों में है बसती। वो आज हमारे साथ कोई और नहीं, पंखुड़ी अवस्थी।
थैंक यू।
सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वेलकम टू बज़ूका। कैसे हो आप?
मैं बहुत अच्छी हूँ, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर हैविंग मी एंड दैट वाज सो नाइस।
नो सीरियसली, आपके मतलब जो हमने देखा, हमने काफ़ी टाइम से आपको मतलब देखते हैं हमारी भी चीज़ों में, जब हम इस आते थे कॉलेज से बैग रख के, वो एक अमला का किरदार, मतलब इतना लोगों को वो अटैच किया, लोगों को वो फील करवाया कि वो किरदार कहीं ना कहीं बाकी जो लड़कियां है वो जीती है। उस पे तो हम आएंगे, बट मैं आपकी जर्नी के बारे में जानना चाहूँगी। कैसे सोचा एज एन मतलब एक्टिंग करनी है, इस जर्नी मतलब इस एक्टिंग फील्ड में आना है आपको, क्या कहना चाहोगे?
आई थिंक बचपन से ही आई थिंक क्लास 7th की बात होगी जब ये थॉट आई थिंक पहली बार मेरे माइंड में आया था दैट आई थिंक आई वांट टू बी एन एक्टर। और एक नेचुरल अफिनिटी तो थी ही टूवर्ड्स स्कूल में होते हैं आपके क्लब्स होते हैं, सो आई वुड ऑलवेज गो फॉर द थिएटर क्लब और द थिएटर SUPW व्हाटएवर। तो वो एक नेचुरल इंक्लिनेशन हमेशा से था। And but obviously you don't take it so seriously even until I was in college, because एक तो पता नहीं होता है कि एक्टर कैसे बन सकते हैं और उस टाइम पे बिकॉज फैमिली का कोई रिमोटली कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है। एंड सो द राइट पाथ वुड बी टू पढ़ाई फिनिश करो, कॉलेज करो, you get into a sales and marketing job, and that's exactly what my path was. But one thing that stayed always was my interest in theatre. So even in school I was in a theatre group, privately did theatre, I in Lucknow Bhartendu Natya Academy में I did like summer workshops, जितना भी कर सकते थे। And then college में I was part of the theatre society. I'm from Hindu college. I was doing English as a course, English honors, and mask हमारी English dramatic society थी, I was a part of that. And college actually was a good forum to explore a lot of acting options because काफी exposure था उस तरीके. So I gave my first auditions when I was in college because there was like a bulletin board where there were several pamphlets चिपकाउड whatever कि ये audition यहाँ पे हो रहा है यहाँ पे हो रहा है. So I was always very intrigued. कई सारे self recorded auditions भी भेजे. I remember that time I had auditioned from Delhi. I was in first year of college sorry. और Endemol इंडिया का एक शो बन रहा था for NDTV Imagine that time. So yeah, I didn't get selected although but they flew me down to give the audition. They liked my first audition. वो दिया and my mother later I figured out कि on the flight my mother is constantly playing hey भगवान ना हो I'm praying हो जाए. She's like I don't want her to leave her studies and and I'm like you're the wrong person to take. Complete opposite manifestations चल रही थी वहाँ पे. But I think my journey so far has been I've always wanted to be an actor. Like I figured it out by the time I was in college and I got my first hand experience थोड़ा सा थिएटर करके थोड़े से एक शो था और for DD that again college के through ही I saw उसका auditions थे and I got selected for that. We also shot the pilot in Muradabad जाके and all that. That show didn't air but we did shoot like a few like the pilot episode. So after doing all of that I knew that कि this is what I want to do. However still you can't just like say कि अच्छा मैं तो जा रही हूँ मुंबई. ठीक है. So obviously because I was also like ये career होना चाहिए या क्या होना चाहिए. Is this my career? You don't even know if that is your career. So I remember I sat for placements and I got placed with ITC in college. So for a sales and marketing job and and I also simultaneously उस time पे दिल्ली में Kingdom of Dreams करके होता था and उनका एक नया शो आया था called झुमरू. पहले तो जंगूरा होता था and एक झुमरू भी आया था. So I had auditioned for that as well. I had also got selected. दोनों का स्टाइपेंड उस टाइम पे मुझे याद है सेम था एंड ITC का भी और इसका भी. ऑब्वियसली माई इंक्लिनेशन वॉज टूवर्ड्स किंगडम ऑफ ड्रीम्स एंड अगर मेरा कॉल होता तो आई वुड हैव जॉइंड किंगडम ऑफ ड्रीम्स. मतलब मेरा ही कॉल था बट देन ऑब्वियसली आई स्पोक टू माई पेरेंट्स एंड दे सेड दैट किंगडम ऑफ ड्रीम्स इज नॉट लाइक अ करियर. दिस इज लाइक अ करियर. यू विल गेट फर्स्ट हैंड experience in public dealing, etc. It's a marketing job. It's a very good company. It's ITC, and you'd rather do that. And obviously, like having a secure future also was somewhere in the back of my mind, and so I went with that. The conventional way of like my dad doing a sales and marketing job, then getting into a corporate, and I had a great experience at ITC. I did sales and I was for the first year I was in Gurgaon, and then I was placed in Bangalore. Once it was a training this program, so 1 year training, then you get the job. So the training part was in Gurgaon and half was in Bangalore. Then I got placed in Bangalore and I did 2 years of working in Bangalore with ITC. Again, within those 2 years in Bangalore also I joined a theatre society because that thing never died from within. And within those 2 years, I got a better grip about myself. You're still figuring out yourself. I got okay though sales and marketing is not my thing. I'd rather be on the other side of buying stuff rather than selling it. But I mean we're all obviously selling something or the other. But so yeah, and luckily I think when you attract those kind of thoughts, so मैंने जो ये दूरदर्शन वाला शो किया था back in college, उनके crew का एक member, his name is Rajan. He's still in the industry and we're still in touch. He made me audition for my first television this thing. उस time वो ये है आशिकी था and he also reached me. number नहीं था so I wasn't picking up या क्या कहीं से नहीं था तो Facebook के through he messaged me कि would you want to do this and I said yeah of course. Acting की हर चीज़ I would do. And that time I remember telling my boss at ITC in Bangalore that this is just a short episodic 6 days of shoot. I'm going to go to Mumbai and come back and I had leaves that time. So he said okay. So I did that stint and after Ye Hai Aashiki, I started getting a lot of calls. है ना? So yeah, for a lot of things and one of those things was Razia Sultan. And so ये होता क्या था कि हम अपने sales calls करने जाते थे. Like we had our designated cars and we corporate calling थी. ऐसा नहीं था कि direct sales है. Corporate sales था. मतलब which was still a little easier. So we had that kind of luxurious life in ITC as well. Like they really take care of their employees that way. So So yeah, I would take some time out of those sales calls and then go home quickly, change into whatever attire it had to be and put on makeup and put book over, box over box and put my phone there and then shoot the audition and then send it, and this happened for a very long time. Then I got I got shortlisted for Razia. So they made me fly down to Mumbai several times.
बट उस टाइम पे था ये फोन से आप ऑडिशन भेज सकते हो?
हाँ, for the people not in Mumbai ऐसा ही था. आप फोन पे ही भेजते थे ऑडिशन, है ना. सो ये तो अब लॉकडाउन की वजह से बहुत ज्यादा कॉमन हो गया कि अब तो होते ही नहीं है पर्सनल ऑडिशन. You just prefer that.
Yes.
But I sent, because I was in Bangalore, so the first round of audition was always on the phone, and then I would call in sick and take the morning flight and then come back in the evening back to Bangalore from Mumbai. I didn't even tell my parents. It's like they'll be thinking कि क्या कर रही है ये. So I did that a couple of times and Razia got stalled. फिर नहीं हुआ वो. Then Rajan again, he approached me for another show called Dil Dosti on Channel V.
Yes.
Yeah. I again went to Mumbai, gave the audition, came back, and I got selected for the main lead of that show. And now I'm in Bangalore and I've gotten selected, and they're like, this particular Monday से shoot start है. So I said, okay, I need some time to pack up my stuff, and obviously I'll have to resign and stuff. I don't know how that happens and everything. So what I did first was put all my stuff into boxes and couriered it to Mumbai. So Sunday, yeah, so I have a flight on Sunday. Saturday evening, I get a call that the show is gone, like it's not happening anymore. I'm like, what? It's not happening. Thank God I hadn't resigned, okay? So and the show's not happening, and I'm like, what? And I was heartbroken, to say the least, because I'm a young girl of 22, and being an actor is your dream. You've already done ITC for about 2 years, and you know that this is not the thing. This is what I like to do, and I was very clear that this is what I want to do. And then I told my parents, and my parents, I'm howling on the phone. It's like, it's okay, something better will happen. I said, no, nothing better can happen. My stuff is on the way. So then I called the courier company. I said, you stop that, you bring it back. And thankfully, by God's grace, I hadn't resigned. So yeah, so then I was very sad for a few days. I said, okay, maybe it's not my destiny. I don't know what's going to happen. I really want to be an actor. And then again, I got a little disoriented with the whole thing, because obviously that was kind of setback to me. Not a huge one, but like to me it was. Then a few months down the line, again, I got a call from BBC for a show called Fana, season 2,
Okay.
on MTV. So I said, are you sure I'm selected? So obviously I did the audition and everything. He's like, you're selected. So there were 3 couples in that. And I remember Karan Kundra, Anita Hasnandani,
Yes.
Ayaz, and I was there. And Yuvraj Thakur was there. So Chetna Pandey was there, I remember. So you're like, you are one of the couples. I said, are you sure? Are you sure the show is happening? Because now, again, I packed up all my stuff, sent it to Mumbai. And so this time, I remember Monday, I thought I'm not going to leave on Sunday. I'm going to leave on Monday only. So I missed the promo shoot of the thing, because also by this time, I did not have leaves left to take. So so Monday, I remember I had a meeting at ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, with my boss, and we were supposed to go for that 3:30 meeting. And everything was planned, and then what happens is that 11:30 in the morning, obviously I went in early, I gathered all my salary slips and everything, and so all the information that was there on my computer and everything, replied to all the emails, whatever I had to do, service, whatever. And then I'm sure that I have a 4:30 flight. Okay, I am going. I don't know how. I've not resigned, because that mistake I'm not going to do now. So unprofessional, by the way. But yeah, so then what happens is I leave for my sales call. I said, let me finish whatever calls I have. But something clicks, and I call my boss on the way in the car. And I say, boss, like, I'm leaving today. I have this acting assignment and I'm leaving. And he's like, my boss is like this father figure. He's like a teddy bear, okay? So, and he's like, you come back to office. You forget the sales call, you come back to office, we need to speak. So I said, okay. I come back to office, and he's like, what are you saying? I said, I want to act. It's my passion. So I'm going. So he's like, you don't have leaves. I said, I know. So he's like, I'll have to report to the head office. I said, you do whatever is required, but I know I'm doing this. I've gotten selected. He's like, that's not a career. That's you're just going for a passion and you're leaving a career behind. You can really grow in this. I said, whatever that is. So whatever that is, I know this is what I want to do. And he's like, I am talking like your father. Have you told... Achha, so I told my parents because I was going to move now. And he said, have you told your parents? How can they let you make this kind of a mistake? So I said, okay, parents ko kyun beech mix mein lao? I said, no, I have not told my parents, So he's like, I'm talking to your parents right now. I said, there's no need, sir. My mind is made up. I said, if you can do something for me, can you give me the car to go to the airport because it's getting late. I have to pick up my stuff, like my bags from home. And he allowed me to do that. He allowed me to do that. And he said, I'll do whatever the protocol is. I'll have to follow that protocol because you can't just leave like that. And I remember taking that flight. I was still in my sari because we were supposed to wear saris as... for our calls when we went out. So... yeah, I'm still in that sari and I straight away land in Mumbai. I go to the set. Now, it's a very, very foreign environment. Even though I'd shot for Ye Aashiqui, it was not like I'd left everything. This was like a feeling ki, okay, I'm here now. So Mumbai, you better be good. Okay, because obviously my boss is telling me this is not a career. You've left a career. There's no chance of going back now. So obviously when I land, I see that my official email has been blocked and I have several emails from the headquarters, from my... GM sales, VP sales, and marketing, and all of which I think I had a good impression on. And now they're all messaging us like, "What are you doing?" So I ignored all of that. I said, "Let me focus here. Let me focus here right now." And so I was on set, and I was also as a person very shy and very reserved. This industry is a completely different world.
True.
So far, even with ITC, I was in a very protected environment. Very, very protected. They really take care of you that way. And it's an old company. So, so this was the first time I had come, and I remember I had no place to stay. So went to I had my school friend here. So just went and knocked on her. I was like, I'm coming and staying. And we have that kind of friendship. So yeah, just come. Yeah, of course. So I stayed there. Obviously, my full and final payment was stopped. There was no payment I was going to get. I didn't even expect it, obviously. I'm here in Mumbai with near to no money. And I'm here and I'm like, okay, ab chalo karte hain jo karna hai. And I start shooting and I'm getting into the groove of, acha ye aise hota hai. No, you don't know anything about the technicality of acting or even acting for that matter. So yeah, I imbibed everything about this. And thankfully, I had my friend here. So I had a good, and obviously my parents, my mother, she sent me money. And I said, okay, once I get my salary, I'm going to give it back to you and stuff. And I settled in for the first 3 months. Then eventually, I was still in touch with my boss. He said, are you sure? Are you sure? I said, yes, sir, I'm sure. And I still talk to him to the day, and he remembers. And he says, that was like a crazy call that you took. But I think it was fate. And also more than fate, it was something within me that I just wanted to be an actor. What I missed here is that after giving my finals, third year finals in college, so I think my finals were in April or sometime May. And for a whole 2 months, I'd put an alarm on my phone, which rang every day at 4 p.m. to tell Mama, Daddy to go to Mumbai post exams. So that was the alarm, so that my drive shouldn't go any lesser. So what I wanted was that before taking ITC, let me go and act. Because ITC job started only in August. So I had some time in between. And every day that alarm rang, and every day I would tell them, I have to go to Mumbai after this. I have to go to Mumbai after the exams. I have to go to Mumbai after the exams. Obviously, they agreed. My parents have never stopped me from anything, and although they've always guided me, but ultimately left the decision on me. And another thing is that they've always accompanied me, good, bad, whatever. It's like, okay, do whatever you want. So we came to Mumbai. My mother's coming with me. We both have no absolute idea. And I remember we're at Shriji. Somebody said Shriji pe auditions hote hain. So we're at Shriji. And like audition कहाँ हो रहे हैं, उन्होंने कहा ये तो खाने की दुकान है. तो यहाँ पे आगे पीछे उन्होंने किसी ने बताया मौर्या लैंडमार्क यहाँ वहाँ. And we landed up at this office where Fear Files के auditions हो रहे थे. So अच्छा, my dad also, he said, you have 1 week. If in this 1 week, because obviously ऐसा कोई, we not have any like ground here in Mumbai, and there are no relatives really. I have one cousin Nani, but like for how long can you stay? You can't just come and go, I'm coming for months, yeah. So it's like you have 1 week. If you can land any audition in 1 week, then we can consider. So I came, I gave that audition, I got selected for that Fear Files episode. And I'm like, see, I've got selected, you know, and I shot for it also in that 1 week. So it was like shooting 2-3 दिन के बाद है. Never got paid for it because I went back to Delhi and didn't get paid for it also. Meager amount. So, but yeah, I got selected, and there was also a travel show which was starting in August. Right at the time ITC was starting. And then obviously they were like, you know, don't make that mistake. Now you do this. You're very young to just like leave you here. Because I was, 19 that time. 19 or 20 that time, yeah. Because college just khatam hua tha. So like, you're too young. Where will we leave you? And we can't just shift base here and stuff like that. My younger brother's also studying. So I said, okay, let me take up ITC. That also seemed exciting. So then I did that. Yeah, then after ITC, you know the whole journey. When I figured out that I want to be an actor, then I came to Mumbai, and I think the city really treated me well because I did Fana season 2. 3 months the show was going to get over. Before that, I remember January the show was getting over. December, the Razia people had called me back again. It's like, are you still available? I said, yeah. I said, from these dates. And then I think they had spoken to the programming head, Vikas Gupta, that time, of MTV and Swastik Productions. Yeah. And very seamlessly, I was doing Razia. You know, before even knowing it, that Fana got over and Razia started. January, we shot the promo, I think end of December, I remember. Razia started, that took a whole year. Then I, almost 10 months around. October, I think I finished Razia. November, I was doing Suryaputra Karan with Swastik itself. Then November, say next year, obviously I met Gautam in between, dynamics changed, everything. And next year, 2016, July or August, I think, Suryaputra Karan got over. 2017, November, I had Kya Kasoor Hai Amla Ka.
Yes.
And then that lasted 2016 November was Kya Kasoor Hai Amla Ka. 2017 was all Kya Kasoor Hai Amla Ka till October. 2017 end, I got roka-fied to Gautam. Roka-fied. It's a lame word, but roka ho gaya. And 2018 we got married. That year I think I did 2 episodes 2018 mein with Fun for Colors, like, yeah, both horror shows. And 2019 was Ye Rishta Kya Kehlata Hai.
Yes.
Then the film Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan. And 2020 was lockdown. Yeah, 2020 was lockdown. 2021 end was Madam Sir. 2022 was Gur Se Meetha Ishq. 2022 end was, I did a film called Confession. 2022 end, I was going to join Madam Sir. I did join actually, against Meera Ji. There was a second day, because people really, I was very thankful. People loved that character.
True.
And so they called me back as Meera Ji. And that's when I found out that I'm pregnant. So I couldn't continue with that show. I shot till December end, till the time I was approximately 12 weeks pregnant, I think. And it was a very action-oriented kind of a show. So, and I was pregnant with twins, which I figured out later because I was doing the transit, 3 hours here and there, and then shooting. And then obviously there was some complications. So then the doctor said, oh my God, you have twins. You can't shoot anymore. With one child, I would not have said no, but you have 2. So there's no way I'm going to let you risk that. So yeah, in February, I did the last episode for Madam Sir. I think the show was going off air. And yeah, that's about it. And then 2023, I delivered my twins. And 24 is when I did nothing, I think. 25, I did. 24 end is when I got this one. Dhakad Veera, 24 end, but it took almost 9 months for the show to come on air. And the shoot only started in April. We were all finalized sitting from December, and there were a lot of changes, and then the show finally came on air now. So that's my journey.
But आपकी जो जर्नी है, जो अभी मैंने सुना है, to be honest, उससे एक चीज़ पता चला कि हार नहीं मानना है.
हाँ, true.
द वे आपने चीज़ें काम भी की, आपने यहाँ पे ऑडिशन भी दिया, ये पता चल रहा है कि आपने हार नहीं माना कभी।
That's true.
जो इंस्पायर से कह सकते हैं ना, लाखों लोगों को करेगा ये सारी चीज़ें। बट जैसे कि मैंने आपसे कहा, आपके काफ़ी ऐसे किरदार हैं जो लोगों के दिल में आज भी है, जैसे अमला हो गया, द्रौपदी हो गया। बट मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहूँगी, जब आप माइथो शो कर रहे थे, जैसे आपको पता है आज के टाइम पे माइथो के बारे में ज़्यादातर लोगों को नहीं पता है। द वे जिस तरीके से आज का जो सिनारियो चल रहा है, लोग उसे छोड़ के बाकी चीज़ों पे ध्यान दे रहे। बट मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँगी, द वे आपने एक वैसा किरदार निभाया द्रौपदी का, जो लोगों को, आधे से ज़्यादा लोगों को आज भी नॉलेज नहीं है। बट मैं आपके उस किरदार के बारे में जानना चाहूँगी, जब वो आया, जब आपने वो किया, क्या कहना चाहोगे? और उन जो बच्चे हैं जो आजकल यंगस्टर है, जिन्हें उनके बारे में नॉलेज नहीं है, उन्हें क्या कहना चाहोगे आप?
I think वो एक ऐसा phase था in television. I think when there were a lot of historical shows, mythological shows were getting made, you know.
Yes.
And personally, I take a very keen interest. Also, there's no denying you get to learn so much that you wouldn't otherwise do. You know, आप कब एक महाभारत का टेक्स्ट उठा के आप पूरा पढ़ोगे आज की डेट में? I still, like before that, I did listen to a podcast and stuff कि वो पूरा वर्कआउट कर रहे हो तो पॉडकास्ट चल रहा है, वॉक कर रहे हो तो पॉडकास्ट चल रहा है. बट आई थिंक maybe in today's date, not for all, but I think for a major part of the Gen Z, probably I think it's lost somewhere. Also, I think that way I feel television plays an important role. You know, it's there at your home, it's running, and if that's the kind of content that's playing, I think I've always loved to be a part of such kind of content because obviously, you are learning so much. Besides, you're doing something meaningful. You get to play these epic characters. You know,
True.
And so when I did Razia again is the first woman ruler of India. So it was I mean, I felt almost, you know, proud to play that character, you know, and the way it was done, that show was beautiful. Till today, like I have people just messaging me not from India, but from different countries that we love this character in their language. They send me those messages. And you know, how that show is, how that love story has touched people. So, and I got a really good kick out of doing that character, you know, because you can be larger than life.
True.
You know, in a social show, you do have to be very realistic still. But in a historical, you get to be that person. You get to have that aura. Similarly for Draupadi, again, it's one iconic character that, you know, you wouldn't get to play otherwise, right?
True.
So, and if you're getting that opportunity, you better not say no, because, you know, it's a once in a lifetime kind of an opportunity, whether it's on TV or it's in film or wherever, but you're getting to play that character. You're going to live that character, the trauma of that character, the, you know, whatever, that the predicament of that character, everything. So I think there was no saying no. When that happened, I had just done I started with a social, you know, youth-oriented show on MTV. And then historical happened. And I was also slowly finding my feet, you know, in acting, understanding the technicalities, understanding what I like. And I really like this kind of stuff, living a different character. Then Draupadi happened. And obviously it was with Swastik. So, and it was like a very prominent character in history, in our mythology. So there was no saying no for sure. And and playing that character, living those scenes. I mean, there were such intense scenes, you know. And although Mahabharata had been made on Star Plus just before that, and that show did wonders. But even this show, like even till today, like if Gautam and I are walking, I remember we were in Kerala, and we were in this temple. I'm forgetting the name of the temple, and there is a rule in that temple that you're supposed to wear a sari and a dhoti. You can't wear anything else. The girls wear the sari and the boys have to wear the dhoti. And there were people who were coming and they were saying that if we just touch you, you know, it'll be, you know, we'll be honored. It can just touch you. And they were actually living, saying that we are those. True. If you get to play that character, that means, you know, God's blessing you somewhere. They want you to. We went to ISKCON and Nityanand Prabhuji, and you know, he said that, you know, if God has allowed you to play this character, then he's really blessing you through it, and you know, you could be a medium. So I mean, that really stayed with me. It felt special. So I was like, okay, I said okay. I'm not saying no to it anyway, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, that was the power of playing such characters. And in today's date, I think if that era comes back where you can, there were so many shows that time, Ashoka, Maharana Pratap, there was
Yes.
Razia, there was also a lot of mythological shows, Rani Lakshmi Bai, and all of those shows did well, I think. So yeah, I think if they come back, it's going to be very educative for kids or whatever these days. Yeah.
यस बट उसके अलावा कौन सा ऐसा किरदार है जो सबसे ज्यादा आपके दिल को टच किया और शायद कहते हैं ना कि वो एक किरदार याद आते ही आपके फेस पे तुरंत स्माइल आती है तो विच कौन सा किरदार है
I think there are two characters that are very close to me. One is Razia because it was my first show that way. And the second is Amla. Amla because it really made me nurture the actor in me. And the setup, our director, she's fantastic. Miss Nandita Mehra, the whole team. This was the first time I was shooting with a lady director, and the sensibility of handling that show, I don't think anybody could have done it better than her. Understanding the depth and the complexities of characters, I think it was such a great experience as an actor that I can never forget that. And also the fact that initially at least the show was treated very, very realistically. It was shot very realistically. You know, there was no unnecessary drama about it. And also in terms of bringing out an actor's performance, I think ma'am did a great job that way. And because there was hardly a day when I would smile. Every day I remember by the end of the day, my head would be paining because I was crying so much. Or I was, naturally crying. You're naturally crying because the situations were so intense. For the first 1 month, we were shooting in Dharamshala in -1 or 1 degree or 0 degree. And I was just chilling and our lips were like, and we were saying those dialogues and even the gang rape scene.
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking about it and then, thinking in retrospect, I think you automatically came into character, especially as a girl in India today or anywhere for that matter. You've also gone through several episodes of eve teasing and stuff. Thankfully, you've been saved in some way or the other. But aisa nahi ki, I don't think most of the girls, like if you go to college, you're in the metro, there are so many cases that you yourself have gone through and how much anger that brings to you. And now this is something else. It's a gang rape victim here. And there were no two thoughts about it, how long that show stayed with me despite being off air. And, it just stayed with me for a very long time. It just felt incomplete somewhere. I thought that the show did not get its due, how beautifully it was made. Obviously, it was an afternoon show, probably for a 10 o'clock audience, because it was a show that catered to both male and female alike, It was a show for a more deeper sensitivity kind of a thing. It was not your regular drama, it was... and you had to be really attached to that journey. You couldn't it couldn't be your second screen, You can't do your work and watch that show.
Yes.
So, and usually that's the busiest time of the day in the afternoon, we're doing certain stuff. But despite that, I think I'm happy because I got to play that character, and it was an adaptation of a Turkish show. So that's one character that I'm really proud of playing. It just makes me smile that that was a part of the list of shows that I did. And yeah.
ओके बट उसके अलावा आपकी लव स्टोरी कैसे स्टार्ट हुई वो तो जानना है कि ये कब स्टार्ट हुआ और ये लव स्टोरी कैसे आगे बढ़ी का क्या कहना चाहोगे
So I was finishing off Razia on the same set that Gautam was beginning Suryaputra Karn. I didn't know I was going to be a part of Suryaputra Karn a month later. But I'm doing we're wrapping up Razia. So last के थोड़े से episodes और वो सब चल रहे थे. And I'm just sitting on the chair like one थका हुआ person who's been shooting like this and thinking something. And there's this entourage passing in front of me. There's Gautam, a person holding an umbrella, a person holding his fruit ka bowl, and a person holding a mukut, and one more person with a script. And I'm looking, who's this guy? ये कौन सा अलग एटीट्यूड है भाई कि यहाँ पे पूरा entourage जा रहा है ठीक है so and he looked at me. I remember he was in a red dhoti and he looked at me and he did hi and I also did hi and that was it. And I was like, who's this snobbish person? He doesn't carry his own stuff. Why does he need so many people? And he also thought pretty much the same about me, that who is this boy-like girl who does not have manners to at least greet properly. So that was our first meeting. And then we eventually met on the sets of Suryaputra Karan. And I remember a common friend, Krishna, who was playing Krishna Saurabh. Yeah, he made us interact for the first time. And we spoke briefly about where you're from, what you like, etc. How come acting, this, that, and the other. And I think both of us in that first kind of chat realized that, okay, this is somebody sensible. You're not like the usual, not faking it, or not like, unnecessarily over hyper about stuff and everything. And I think, eventually, so that's how, that was the first click, I think. And then eventually, Gautam asked me for my number. He shouted and he said, can I have your number? And all that was happening. And we met for the first time. I remember we went to the Umargaon beach at 2 a.m. And it was a moonlit night. It was beautiful. And then we are discussing. He's like, what are your ambitions? What is this? And I had this impression that he's 44 years old. And I was 24 that time. I said, okay, 20 years. That's a little less, I think. So it should be more than that. And then he's like, no, I'm 37. I'm not 44. I said, okay, makes it better. 14 years. Take care. So yeah, and that's how I think things started. There was obviously an infatuation and attraction instantly. And so that's how it started. And we were not very crazy right from the start, but there was a silent, affection brewing. Within a month, yes, Gautam did say, like, let's get married. And I was like, I'm 24, but I was still excited at the idea of it because I don't know. And then I told my dad, and he said, there's no way you're getting married right now. You're 24. You first date the person for 2 years, and at least date for 2 years, and then we'll see. And that's what we did, actually. We dated for 2 years. We also got busy in our own work and everything. And it was good also because we got to know each other in depth, and also the kind of foundation to, a companionship is very important. So we fought a lot also because although our ideologies are mostly, our end result is obviously the same, but we have very different natures, how we get to it. And so that was, I think, something that we needed to understand. And obviously, like I said, I was very reserved and very, very I held back. That time I didn't even say what I didn't like, or there were different ways in which I said it. And he would sometimes just be perplexed, bhai, ho kya raha hai? So yeah, so all of those things, I think it took us 2 years to actually, really, really understand each other. And obviously you still date and keep getting to know each other. That never stops. But but I think that foundation was strong. We knew that, okay, this can be, a marriage. And 2 years down the line, he was turning 40 and I was 26. And the families met. Obviously, I met his parents. My mother met him. My dad met him. And the final, this thing was that my dad said he's a good guy. I was like, okay, you've never said that so about anyone. So if he's saying he's a good guy, then he's a good guy. So, and I knew he was very, obviously, whenever you're in a relationship, if you can go all out, you can be ready to marry someone, that means there are no red flags. Otherwise, I have never been in a situation where I could say that, yeah, I'm ready to marry this person. I'm ready to marry this person. And it only happened with him that I did not feel or see that there was anything stopping me. And I think that was a teller. That was something that told me that, I think there is nothing that's really stopping me, So we went ahead with it, and it was Roka in October and then marriage in next year, Feb. So we had 3 months to prepare for the wedding, and rest is history.
वाओ, काफ़ी प्यारा लव स्टोरी था. बट इसके अलावा जैसे कि आप इस इंडस्ट्री में काफ़ी वक्त से हो, बट जैसे आपने देखा होगा कि बिफोर आफ्टर जो चेंजेस आए हैं, काफ़ी ऐसे आर्टिस्ट हैं जिनके शोज आ रहे तुरंत बंद हो जा रहे, या तो रातों रात आर्टिस्ट चेंज हो जा रहा है. आप ये सारी चीज़ों को कैसे देखते हो, और आपने क्या सोचा कि आपको टीवी या फिर मूवी या फिर ओटीटी, क्योंकि ओटीटी फिर भी चल रहा है, बट अगर आप मूवी और टीवी की बात करो, कहीं ना कहीं आपकी मूवी हिट हुई तो हिट हो गई, नहीं तो फ्लॉप हो रही है. यहाँ पर टीवी का सेम, अगर टीआरपी नहीं आया तो आपके शोज बंद हो जा रहे हैं. आप ये सारी चीज़ों को कैसे देखते हो?
It's definitely not encouraging to be an actor in today's age. Obviously, there are so many actors, and the amount of content that's being made, especially films, it's not a great time. There was a film, or there were multiple films in cinemas every Friday. Gautam and I, we were in the theater every other day because we wanted to watch a film. And now it's been months. Obviously, we have kids also, but otherwise also there's no film that's appealing. That you really want to go out and watch. So that has reduced. There's no dearth of actors, of course. Web has come up in a certain way, but then it has its own principles, and somehow television actors have always been the last in the list to be preferred for something, if I may say so. Obviously, a lot of actors are doing great jobs, but these are those actors who, who've already made their mark. Now they're in different kinds of roles, etc. But if you are like still an active person who's working in television, then I don't see too many television faces being considered for web or films. So that definitely is there because they start seeing you as a television actor or a web actor or a film actor. So you can't cross those boundaries. Obviously, film actors can definitely come to web, but not every day would you see a new web actor getting a film also. So, there are those boundaries, and there are very clear boundaries. Obviously, people don't say that we are considering this or that, but they do, So, however, I personally don't. I like to be in my bubble, and I feel like, okay, let these tags not define, let me just go and do whatever. If I see, aisa nahi that I'm not getting audition calls for web and stuff, or for films and stuff. I am, right? So, that's been a thing with me in my mind, because earlier people said if you do mytho, if you do historical, you'll not get a social show. But that didn't happen. I did get Amla, right? Right after Suryaputra Khan. Then people said you get married, your thing changes, perception changes. You're going to be typecasted as somebody who's married, and but that didn't happen, right? So I got a film after that, and I did Shubh Mangal, I did Ye Rishta Kya Kehlata and stuff. Then people said now after being a mother, you're going to be considered for that kind of a thing. So probably, yes, this is the only time that I feel that obviously when you cross a certain age mark also, so even if you can look the part, I think, because there are so many people,
True.
Unless you are like somebody who's going to give a second note, nahi, isko to 16 lagate hain aaj. They have 6,000 options in 16, na? So obviously there's always been this competition, I think I consider myself lucky कि इतने भी shows मैंने regularly आके मुंबई में फिर भी काम करा. I consider myself lucky. This industry definitely has work for everyone. I'm not going to deny. I think you just have to keep at it, and eventually if you have that talent, if you have that craft, then it will make its way through. It will make its way through because you've made your way through still. It's just a matter of being at it. And at this particular point in time, you're right. Like shows are going off air in 6 months, 3 months. It's
Even
not
50. I think 5 days or 6 days shows band ho ja rahe hain.
Yeah. So I don't think that's encouraging. Definitely not for an actor. And but at the same time, I don't know what I can do about it. I can't do anything about it. My job is to act. It's not like I have, if obviously from a producer's perspective, if the show's not working for the channel, I think and it ultimately depends on the audience, what the audience wants to consume also, because everybody's relied on that, So I don't know whose fault it is. I think audience perspectives change, what they want to consume. A lot of people are moving towards web. Still, there's a lot of consumption of normal drama on television, and what really works. So I don't bust my head around it so much. So I already have a lot of things to think about, and I do what I get. I audition for the roles that I like. Whatever comes my way. Definitely, if you're talking about feeling bad, yes, I do. Like if there's any show that's going off air, it's not like a happy thing. Okay, chalo show off air. Okay,
Yes.
It's not a great thing for anyone, I think. And I hope times can improve. That's all I can hope, especially for films also. So yeah.
True. बट कि आपने ये रिश्ता किया है, सबसे ज़्यादा अगर कंट्रोवर्सी कहीं से आई है तो ये रिश्ता से ही आई है. बट मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँगी, ये जो चीज़ें हुई, रातों रात आर्टिस्ट चेंज हो जाते हैं, वहाँ पर रिप्लेस कर दिया जाता है, जो भी, इट्स ट्रू कि ये सारी चीज़ें वहाँ पर होती है. आपने तो एक्सपीरियंस किया है, मतलब आप वहाँ पे रह चुके हो, तो ये सारी चीज़ें होती है.
यार जब मैं वहाँ पे थी तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. एंड आई थिंक सी have worked with so many actors. I know sometimes how actors also can be. However, I was not in that situation, so I can't comment on anything. But अगर ये situation आई है, you know, there has to be something that's not right. What is not right is for them to decide. You know, I can't decide that. But I've worked there. In my experience, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. You know, I had a good time with Rajan sir the first time I met him. And the character, obviously this was supposed to be a 3-month cameo, and I had told Rajan sir that, you know, I have this film coming up which I want to do. I'm already gotten that part, and that starts in September. So, and we were in June that when I got selected for Rishta. I said 3 months. So, I yeah, June, July, August, 3 months mein ho jayega. The character was such, well, I would have never imagined. I got so many galis for that character, that one character. And it was supposed to be a Radha and Meera kind of a track, that where Shivangi is the Radha and, you know, meant to be, and then there's ultimate devotion from here. Obviously, then they made her character turn grey, which was not a part of the initial this thing, but then eventually whatever suited the storyline, and I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I think despite all the hate that the character got and I got for it, I remember Rajan sir messaging me, I hope you're fine, you know, because the audiences, they were crazy at that time.
True.
You know, and, you know, they wrote to the broadcasting ministry and saying that, you know, they wrote to Shiv Sena that this person needs to be removed, this person needs to be killed, raped, etc., blah, blah, blah. The amount of abuses on your social media, any random post, not even about the show, was... so that was the first time I got a taste flavor of, you know, how things are. And it did bother me in the beginning. Then eventually I was like, okay, I can't be too affected by this, you know, I can't be too affected by this. And I have a life. And it's sad that, yes, for a lot of actors, obviously, I'm not denying the fact that it is your admirers that, you know, make you happy, that there are people liking your work. At the same time, I've also known better than to, you know, actually there will be sometimes people going crazy about you despite not doing that great or whatever, you know, because they have that one set of fixed point of view ki matlab ye to hamara idol hai, right? So you need to know yourself, you need to have your feet on the ground, you need to know that, you know, today this is there, tomorrow this might not be, and you need to keep working. Maybe whatever things you're not doing, or sometimes इसकी आड़ में कि आपके इतने फैंस हैं, आप कई सारी चीज़ें कर जाते हो. लाइक आई हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल कि जो आपको लगता है कि सही है, बट वो सही नहीं है. एज अ पर्सन आई फील पर्सनली, बट देन अगेन to each their own. I mean, I'm not going to comment on that. So yeah, but हाँ, रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है was a crazy time. On set क्या होता है क्या नहीं होता, I think it's best. I think if you're doing your work properly, if you're being professional, I don't see how anybody will have any problem with you, you know. But if you're not, and it could be either ways, you know. It could be sometimes that the production is not paying. I've also been, you know, under that the production is just not paying your fee. You know, the show's been over and you're just really calling for your payment as like, when will it happen? 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line, they're not paying. So it's not like only actors are at fault. Sometimes even the production houses, they don't live up to their expectations. So it's both ways. Who's right in this particular case? I don't know. I wasn't there at that time. So in my time, everything was great. Perfect.
Okay. But कहीं ना कहीं जो मीरा का किरदार है वो इतने दिलों को छुआ है, क्योंकि कुछ ही वक्त बट आपने जिस तरीके से फैंस का प्यार कमाया, द वे फैंस ने आपको पसंद किया, उस कहते हैं ना मैडम सर में हमने हमेशा देखा है कि कुछ कैरेक्टर से जो फैंस को काफ़ी, बट आपके आते ही द वे उस किरदार ने लोगों को हंसाया है. क्या कहना चाहोगे? आपको ऐसा लगा था कि ये इतना प्यार मुझे ऐसे आएगा?
When I auditioned for it, I did it in a very cliched way, because when you get like a robot audition, then you do it as a robot, right? When I got selected for it, so everybody was brainstorming at that time. कि अच्छा करना क्या है कैरेक्टर के साथ. I said, अरे मुझे बताओ आप क्या करना है. How would I know? So there were several references, Dr. Spock and ये सारी चीज़ें, कई सारी references थी, and they were very clear that we don't want it to sound robotic. It has to be very, very human. You know, that's the whole idea of introducing an artificial intelligence cop that can look like a normal person, speak like a normal person. Then eventually, maybe that is the future. You know, that, artificial intelligence takes over. The real policemen lose their jobs because they have superhuman strength and stuff. So But how to do it, even till my promo shoot, I had no idea. I had no idea. It's like, okay, let's just let it flow, because obviously there was no robotic tone that was supposed to be used. I wasn't supposed to blink. Those things were clear. My movement had to be free yet robotic. So it was just like a blur between two and no clear cut. So if you know it's robotic, then you're doing this like that. But it was not that. It had to be smooth yet look robotic at the same time. So I was like, until and unless I do it, I don't think I'm going to know. But the fact that that character was written so nicely, our director on set, I mean, the kind of things that he added, that wink in the end or whatever, how the AI is learning, I think it made it really... I mean, I would laugh after doing certain nonsensical things on set, and we would all laugh, like Gulki, Yukti, and everybody there. We would all just laugh. I was like, what did I just do? So, yeah, with the director's help, with the creative's help, with obviously the producer's help, and and ultimately, obviously, you bring a little bit of yourself to the character. So it was a great character that way. I mean, and it stuck with the audiences, and the little antics of that character, they stuck with the audiences, and what could be a better thing than that,
बिकॉज
So-
मेरी दी आपको इतना देखते थे जब आपका वो एग्जिट हुआ, मैं दी वाज लाइक आरजू व्हाई, क्यों,
Yeah.
मतलब वो कैरेक्टर आपका इतना ज़्यादा पसंद आया, इतना ज़्यादा. और आई थिंक जब वो सेट की बात है, ऐसे वाया ऐसी बात हुई थी कि शो बंद नहीं हो रहा था बिकॉज ऑफ गुल की शो बंद हुआ है. इट्स ट्रू.
I don't know if I should comment on that. I don't think, यार कि it's because of one actor कि एक show बंद हो सकता है. I mean, there are so many factors. I mean, Gulki would agree that she loves this show. So who wouldn't love that show? That show has given you so much. So ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. I mean, अगर कोई personal issue हुआ भी, तो it would have been something major कि एक इंसान नहीं कंटिन्यू कर पा रहा है या ऐसा है. बट आई एम नॉट श्योर कि ऐसा था. देयर वर मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स, एंड सो मेनी टाइम्स ऐसा भी था कि शी वुड गेट अ ब्रेक या जैसे भी, बट आई डोंट थिंक शी वुड हैव हरसेल्फ wanted not to be a part of the show. There would have been something that was difficult that couldn't be resolved. या कुछ होगा. I mean, I don't know that for sure. Like, but yeah, certain to say that उसकी वजह से show बंद हुआ है, ऐसा I don't think that's the truth. हाँ.
बट अगर आया तो क्या आप जाना वो फिर से वो किरदार निभाना पसंद करोगे?
Why not? Why not? I love that character. People loved it. I would love to play it again. Yeah.
ओके. वेल, इसके अलावा आपका नया शो आ रहा है कलर्स पे, उसके बारे में थोड़ा जानना चाहेंगे. किस तरीके का किरदार आप निभा रहे हो? जो शो का नाम है उससे ऐसा पता चल रहा है जो पहले एक शो आ चुका था रिलेटिवली कहीं ना कहीं वैसा है.
Okay.
तो मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगी क्या किरदार है, क्या कहना चाहोगे?
Okay. So जब पहली बार प्रोमो आया ऑन एयर, जब मैंने कमेंट्स पढ़े तो उसमें लिखा था कि द शो इज सिमिलर टू वीर की अरदास वीरा
Yes.
एंड नाना इज दिस लाडो. ठीक है. अब ये दोनों शोज मैंने नहीं देखे हैं. मुझे पता है इनके बारे में, लेकिन मैंने देखे नहीं है कि उनमें डिटेल में क्या हुआ था. सो मैं नहीं बोल सकती हूँ कि दे आर सिमिलर, बट अगर ऑडियंस कह रही है तो कुछ होगा. बट सी, तुम सारे शोज ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर ही होते हैं.
Yes.
ठीक है. स्पेशली इन द सोशल realm, बिकॉज दे आर अबाउट ह्यूमन कनेक्शंस एंड ह्यूमन रिलेशंस एंड क्या हो रहा है. इट्स अ show about interpersonal relationships between a mother, son, a mother-in-law, and what attracted me to this show was that I hadn't acted for about almost 2 years. I was missing it. B, I was also in that dilemma that how am I going to take up a show and give all that time to a show, because in a TV show that you're out for 14 hours, so you're out for 14 hours, and what about the kids? How are they going to be? How am I going to leave them for so long? And if it is a continuous thing, then you don't even know when that. Obviously, you don't want the show to end soon also, right? So how crucial is that? How crucial is my presence on both sides? So I was in that dilemma. I still am. I'm not going to deny that. I still am. And but it came as a cameo thing for me, and it seemed like the best thing. I was like, okay, I'm going to give it my full for this particular time period, and then I'm going to be all for my kids, kind of a thing. So yeah, it happened at that time. And not just that, the character, the concept of the show, like I said, I like to be part of stuff that has a kind of relevance. That way it has a kind of message to it. So playing a character like Sarla. So Sarla is a woman staying in Haryana. The show is and she is a widow, and her husband died within a month of her getting married. Yes, she was pregnant with her son, with his son, and but she's never got that love. She's just lived as a widow. And after 8 to 9 years, I think she falls in love with somebody else. And she falls in love with somebody else. Obviously, she's more scared than anybody else. She doesn't know if it's the right thing to do or not. But yes, she is a progressive woman. She's not somebody, she's educated, she's progressive. She knows it's not wrong. It's except in this society, except in her mother-in-law's rule. But she does take that step. She goes and she gets married to that guy, and then eventually also conceives his baby. That point, the show starts. Like Sarla is already 7 months pregnant with her second husband's child. And it's still a mystery to this whole unit, except for one person, even to her son. So obviously these 7 months have been like like full of like an emotional ride for her. It's come to the point where it started showing now. Now after 6 months, it's really started showing, and she can't hide it anymore. And she's obviously, that thing is constantly, gripping her mind. Ki ab kya hoga? Kahin ye na dekh le, wo na dekh le. So she's trying her best to hide it with a shawl and everything. But it's a lame attempt. Although, someday or the other, she knows that she's going to be revealed. But she's still hopeful. So obviously the show begins at that point where she's in that dilemma whether to tell the son or not, how she should just go and last 3 months she should be with her husband and stuff. So yeah, and in between everybody finds out and stuff. What attracted me most to her character was there was so much emotional layering, in terms of a woman fighting for her love, a woman fighting against the mindset of society, which at a greater level even today a lot of women are doing, not only in Haryana, a lot of women in India. So that, apart from that bond with the kids, I think I could, that really came from a place where, being a mother, I just know what it feels like. Then to be separated from your kids, to die, those scenes were so powerful and very nicely written also. Like I was just reading the script and I was crying. So I think all of these scenes really attracted me. So from an actor's perspective, I thought, okay, there are performance oriented scene, and if I want to come back, do like a comeback on television with a cameo, then I think this is a perfect role for me. I can give a lot to it, the kind of emotional depth it requires. And so I did it, and I had a great time. We shot in Punjab for about 10 days. I'd left the babies at home with my mother, with Gautam. Obviously helps. And yeah, then we came back here and we shot. And yeah, I had a great time filming those scenes. The cast was great. And yeah.
ओके वेल इसके अलावा जैसे कि सोशल मीडिया आज के टाइम पे बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट हो गई है हमारी लाइफ में, बट मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँगी कि द वे सोशल मीडिया पे चीज़ें चल रही है, लाइक एआई का मिसयूज़ हो रहा है, जहाँ पर लोग अच्छी चीज़ों के लिए इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, वहाँ पर नेगेटिव चीज़ें हो रही है, जहाँ पर प्यार पहले एक चीज़ में कभी दिखाया नहीं जाता था, जहाँ पर आज चीज़ें बहुत नेगेटिव ही, सारी चीज़ें हमें यूट्यूब या इंस्टा पे ही दिख जाती है। मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँगी, आप इस वक्त सोशल मीडिया कैसे देखते हो?
See, obviously, as an actor, social media also has now started playing a very big role, right? Yes. Everybody will ask for your Instagram link. Everybody will ask for your insights. And I'm not just talking about social media campaigns. I'm talking about proper acting work. So it has become important. So in that sense, it does put a little bit of pressure to stay relevant. However, as much as I have tried, see, earlier when you were free, I liked doing. not after social media has become important is not the time when I actually started liking it. I started liking it way before. When Instagram came into the picture in 2012, I was in Bangalore. I still had an account. I started posting. I was posting because that's something that I liked doing. Then eventually in the lockdown, the reel format came, and you just try it out of intrigue. You don't know it's going to become like branded content later. You're going to get paid for it. You're going to get an ad based off of this. So even till today, I don't do a lot of things just because of the pressure of getting more followers, getting more likes. Mostly I do it for my happiness. Yes, I cannot completely deny the fact that yes, having a good following is important. That also drives you. You also want brand endorsements, because on days you're not doing, for example, after having kids, if you're not doing acting work, but actually social media gives you so many opportunities. Like, it gives you so many opportunities that you're still occupied, you're still working, you're still earning money. So I wouldn't completely blame it also, but I also don't like, as an actor, the fact that how much everybody just relies on that the actual importance of being an actor is just so diminished. It's just diluted, So the things that we used to take pride on, that, that we've learned so much about acting, we're still learning. I mean, you can never learn enough, but you still grind. Like, it's been 10 years for me in this industry. It's been 10 years of learning what to do, etc. And then, but you're still not going to be preferred because you don't have so many followers, or you don't have so many likes, or you don't have that kind of reach. So, I mean, good for those who have that kind of reach, who've not done acting, and you can obviously learn to act. I mean, it just comes in easy that way, but it doesn't feel great. But then at the end of the day, you have to suck it up and just like move forward. What else can you do? You have to stay relevant, and if you can't, then stop complaining about it. Like, I know, like, after having kids, there are these phases where I'm really active, and there are these phases I don't feel like posting. Now, nobody can make me post, whether my followers are reducing or whatever. There was a time in lockdown where everybody was making reels. I was also free, so I was also making reels. There was a great reach. There were so many brands sending their stuff and whatever, that I had to buy different wardrobes to fit in that stuff. And then eventually, after having kids, that reduced. I couldn't just like, I didn't feel like getting ready and getting in front of the camera and just like, dancing my way. So I do it now, like when I have the free time or whatever, but I feel there's a little bit more importance than necessary to social media. I think social media is there, great. I think actors and this industry shouldn't lose its being just because there's another thing coming up. Why blur those lines for all you need? But like, I mean, there should still be like a protected environment for actors, I feel. So yeah.
Okay, but as a mother, कितने सारे changes आए आपकी life में?
बहुत. I mean, काफी सारे changes. Your life is not the same. Because when you're an individual, you're only responsible for yourself. You're eating whatever you want. You don't want to eat, don't eat. Even as a married person, like if you're in a adult marriage where it's just the two of you, you're not responsible for what my partner can take care of himself. You're not babysitting your partner, right? Obviously there's care and there's stuff, but then it's like still you're your own person. You're like still roommates, chilling and watching your series and hanging out and going for movies, going for dinners, etc. After having kids, there are multiple things. Your body changes, so you change physically. Mentally, yes, you change because now there is a constant person that you need. Your people now, for me, there are two. So you're constantly responsible for those. So even if you've forgotten to eat, you will never be okay if your child doesn't eat. That constant worry will be there. If you've not gone out for this particular thing, it's okay, but has my child done this particular thing? So you cannot be okay agar usne ye nahi kiya. You'll not be okay agar usko itna gram milk nahi mila hai. You'll not. I'm like that. So it's become a part of your being, and you were not. I mean, a lot of people are sort of ready, but I think I was personally. It didn't sink in till the time I had that kind of responsibility that this is how it's going to be. It's a full-time job. You're like full-time only thinking about your kids. What are they going to do? Where are they going to play? What are they going to eat? What are they going to wear? What is their education going to be like? Am I stimulating them enough? They're still like young, they turn 2, but am I introducing the right kind of things to them? Is the nutrition complete? Everything. It's just about them. And with that kind of responsibility in your mind, you still have your acting work to get back to. You still want to be your own person who wanted to turn to reels once in a while, just like keep that active as well. At the same time, during my pregnancy, I'd started a jewelry brand for myself. And so you want to keep that active as well. You also want to return to your old creative self where I used to write. So I recently took a challenge and I actually did write a book. And, there are phases where you're completely there. You want to get back to acting. You want to manage so much. And honestly, that's a little much, I feel, especially when you want to handle so many things. You want to be your person also, you want to be there for the kids also. So your day just goes like that. You don't have, till the time I think the kids become self-dependent, you don't have that ease to be, you're constantly just like getting pulled in different directions. And it's okay. I'm not complaining at all. I love doing everything for my kids. Going overboard is what I like. At the same time, I do also would like to, just go out for a dinner without having the guilt, but that's never going to happen. Go to shoot without having the guilt, or, in my mind, freely think that I'm going to take up a TV show without having a second thought. I can't do that. At the same time, exposing them to a set environment is not something that I want at all. So I'm very clear about that. So if it's me working, then Gautam has to be with them. And if Gautam and I both are working, then obviously grandparents have to be with them, and that also cannot be for a very long time. So ultimately, I think after becoming a mother, there are these changes that you need to bring, in terms of your working, etc., etc. There are so many mothers who decide to not continue their jobs, and just take up this full time. I'm still struggling with that, but I just want to get back to work as well, and I want to figure out how to handle them also. Now they have a fixed routine, they have their play school they go to, and they come back, they have their play time, they have the nap time, they have their meals planned and everything. So aisa nahi ki I can't take my time off. I can, and so many mothers do it. I'm not the first mother on earth to be working after having kids, but it just seems like such a daunting thing कि कैसे होगा, but हो जाता है.
यस, बट आजकल रियलिटी शो काफी चल रहे हैं, तो अगर आपको किसी रियलिटी शो में काम करने का मतलब आपको जाने का मौका मिले, तो आप कौन सा रियलिटी शो पसंद करोगे जाना?
Probably a dance reality show, because I am not a great dancer, so probably I'll learn something. That or something like a Khatron Ke Khiladi, because I am adventurous that way. So yeah.
But no Big Boss.
Big Boss, I don't know how well I can do in Big Boss. Maybe I can do very well, I feel sometimes when I watch it, and I think, okay, I think I'll be great. And sometimes I feel, no, I don't have the courage to take that kind of thing, but it is about being vulnerable, being your true self. And definitely the thought comes sometimes that what if I was in that situation? How would I be like in this kind of a situation? I don't know if I can do it. I did get a call, like I was listening to this meme that day and said everybody gets a call for Big Boss, but I did get it, and it meant leaving the kids behind for 3 months.
Okay.
And I didn't know that I could do that. I didn't think I could do that. So they were young also. So yeah, not right now for sure.
Okay. So कभी ट्रोलिंग का सामना करना पड़ा है?
ट्रोलिंग ये रिश्ता के टाइम पे ही हुई थी. अदरवाइज माई कैरेक्टर्स हैव ऑलवेज बिन loved only. I've never played a grey character except for in Ye Rishta, where I would be open to any kind of, although people are still open to a lot of this thing. I think there was only twice that I think I faced that kind of a backlash ever in my life. One was Ye Rishta, and one was when we decided to get married, when it finally came out in the media. So I think there were a lot of people saying that this is an age gap, and why are they getting married, and who is she? Because I was new and Gautam was a known name, and who is she, and she is this and she is that. And I was like, okay, but that didn't bother me so much. It didn't like faze me or anything, but like Ye Rishta was intense. Like my Twitter is full of, and because I was doing this film Shubh Mangal Zyada Saavdhan, so I saw there were posts on Twitter tagging Ayushmann Khurrana also. I was like, oh God, what are you doing? Inko bola aapki film kare, ye na kare. I was like, oh God, I hope nobody sees this. And writing the broadcasting ministry, she should be banned, and how are they showing bigamy and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, what are these people? They don't know the difference between fiction and reality, and they don't know it.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't know it. That was the first time I was just amazed with the population of my country. I was like, how is this happening, and how do people जिनके ये fans हैं वो, अभी nobody supports it, I know, but like ये इतने अनरियलिस्टिक कैसे हो सकते हैं? आप एक रियल इंसान को लाइक कर रहे हो फॉर देयर कैरेक्टर, राइट? हाउ कैन यू नॉट नो द डिफरेंस? हाउ कैन यू गेट सो इनटू इट? But that is how it is, and you have to take both sides of it, I feel. So I was very surprised. I was stunned कि ऐसे कैसे लोग हो सकते हैं. हाँ, so yeah.
बट आज भी इंडस्ट्री में आने से पहले काफी लोगों को कास्टिंग काउच का सामना करना पड़ता है. बट आपकी इस जर्नी में कभी आपने ये फेस किया है?
कभी भी नहीं, थैंकफुली कभी भी नहीं. सी, एज अ गर्ल, नॉट एज इन दिस इंडस्ट्री, आपको समझ तो आ ही जाता है. गुड टच, बैड टच तो बचपन में ही सिखा देते हैं. यू कैन फिगर आउट बाय लुकिंग एट अ गाय, यू नो, कि किस इंटेंट से आपको देख रहा है, या आप किस इंटेंट से देख रहे हो, सामने वाले को भी समझ आ जाता है, राइट? आई थिंक आई हैव बीन लकी. मेरे साथ कभी ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं हुआ, या मुझे लगा जहाँ पे हो सकता था, आई वेरी जस्ट बैक्ड ऑफ. यू नो, देयर इज नथिंग दैट कैन फोर्स मी टू वर्क with anybody who's giving me the bad kind of feel. You know, I will not work. There is nothing. I mean, I might work in a mandir. That's what I used to tell myself. Like, mandir mein kaam kar lo yaar, dharamshala mein kaam kar lo, kya padi hai? You know, there's nothing that can make you go otherwise. Aur aisa kabhi hua bhi nahi. So we've always been very professional. So thankfully, yeah.
वाओ. वेल, उसके अलावा लास्टली बज़ूका के साथ ये पॉडकास्ट करके कैसा लगा?
बहुत अच्छा लगा. आई मीन, you guys just gave me the opportunity to reflect back on everything. It's just so nice to sort of, you know, look back at your life in retrospect and think ki haan, matlab, you know, you finally become an actor what you wanted to. And that girl in college didn't know that she could ever become an actor. That girl with 90C in Bangalore didn't know. I just remember myself sitting on that bench in the park and crying after that first thing, you know, was cancelled. That show was cancelled. And so, you know, there's I mean, it's so good to relive all of those moments. It just makes your fire stronger and makes you want to strive harder and just keep at it. Yeah.
Wow. So lastly, any message for friends?
Lots of love to you guys, and I feel thank you for always supporting, and but only support if you think I really do justice. I mean, your love is overwhelming. I mean, that unconditional love in every phase, the love you give to my family, to my kids, is just great. Thank you so much.